important in the first season. Like they were hinted at, the seed was planted, but all the big things that as an audience that you cared about to the end.
Yeah. Like there was definitely some stuff that you could call world building where they've they've created enough mysteries that stuff that I could want to like learn about and figure out what was going on with. But at the same time, it's not necessary. Like it had a satisfying like they actually worked together, they actually escaped. It had that great anime moment where you're like, "Oh shit, everything came together."
They did it, yeah. Yeah, especially that ending, you know, feeling that Mama was actually Mama, but I liked that ending of how it was not Norman, who was it?
Ray?
Right, not it was the emo child,
Yeah,
the one with the
Ray.
black hair. Ray, okay, yeah. How Ray was like, no, that's my mom.
Yeah.
It
And
was
I've
like just
always known she was my mom too.
there was literally I love how that transaction between them where he was like, no, I'm giving you confirmation that I knew. Like
Yeah.
it was actually very business between them.
And
Survival of the fittest. I just outsmarted you, so you're dead.
yeah, and I love that the mom was just like, "You know what? Yeah." And it's like even the evil characters, I guess aside from Sister, even the evil characters are more like they were just put into a shitty situation and they chose to do the shitty thing.
Because survival, fight or
Yeah.
flight. Like, you know, everyone realizes that it's a shitty situation. So when they get played, get personally. They know that for as long as they've made it, they're standing on a mountain of corpses themselves. So
Yeah.
it's only natural that like their corpse be added to someone's mountain.
Exactly. And like it was great seeing the mother like, "You know what? If you beat me, I'm just happy you made it. Like I'm happy somebody made it."
So I mean, like that was actually a really satisfying ending. I liked it a lot in regards to like, cool, everyone got what they what they needed out of it. There's a couple of loose strings, like the whole who's the books, how the hell like everyone knows that it's on a planet and there's humans like in the system, like it's
The
full chattel.
the books I definitely want to like learn more about. Like who was trying to warn them. Also,
Rebellion somewhere.
that one kid is a freaking beast.
Which one?
Uh the
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 small
young
one?
the small one who like who figure out everything before everybody else.
Yeah, he doesn't flinch. He's like, I knew it
He's like, "Yeah."
before. Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I kind of knew that there was a problem." He's also the kid who figured out uh the book thing in the beginning.
He's the one that points it out.
Yeah. Like that kid is way smarter than anybody ever gave him credit for.
Yeah, absolutely. Like actually he was so smart to the point where honestly, I was like, that little shit's the problem is the mole. Like he's the one going back to mama. Like
But like it was
like
even better. Yeah, because in the beginning you're like, "No, I think that kid's the mole." And then it turns out Ray's the mole. And you're like, "What?" And then it turns out Ray's like a double agent. You're like, "Even more, what?"
yeah, it was just really good. I liked it a lot. I mean, I'm honestly, as an audience, I'm more invested in figuring out what happened to Norman.
Norman. Yeah. I was just gonna say that. Like, he's gotta still be alive, right?
Yeah, honestly, and I think what it is like he's too smart for his own good. So like I think what they're doing is it's kind of like a hacker situation, right? The FBI gets hacked by a hacker. They don't go after him and put him behind. Well, I mean, they do put him behind jails, but they're given the ultimatum,
Yeah.
like now fortify our walls. And I have a feeling that's what happened to Norman, where
Well, I mean,
it was like fucking Rogue One status, where they were just like, now make sure no one else can escape and figure it out the way that you
wait,
did.
wait,
But he's gonna like leave stuff.
Jeremy, have you watched this show?
Which show?
Promised Neverland?
Yes.
Okay. Oh shit! I just realized Nick hasn't.
I don't think Nick's there. Okay.
Okay.
Sweet.
So.
All right.
Continue on.
So I talked to Patrick, like briefly, in text message. He said he will not be able to make it to the board meeting, so we shall truck on without him.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
also did just beat Bloodstained and was
Oh,
watching the end credits.
good for you.
Ooh, there's an extra mode.
Yeah. Alrighty,
I
let's.
completed 99.4% of the map.
Oh, you got some work to do then.
That 0.6 is gonna kill me inside. All right.
It is.
So we were talking about the con treatment kit.
Mhm.
Stephanie said that she was going to work on putting together what we need over the weekend. Hello?
Sorry. Yes, I will.
Yes,
Yeah,
I can
gotcha.
hear you. You said yes, you will.
Yeah.
All right. We also talked about the idea of preparing articles, or at least we started to.
Started that, yes.
Just when we know the interview is happening, we can, set up an article that already has the images, that already has the tags, all of that like needling stuff that you have to do on the side every time you make a review or write a piece.
Right.
We can do all of that for some of our articles ahead of time. That way, and if we have a press kit, that's even better, because then we can put like stuff from the actual game into the article. And that way, when we do something like, I know for PAX South, we're going to just be booked with appointments back to back to back to back. But when we can take that break, you can write 500 words or something and just stick it in and set it off to go.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that we should have. I like the idea of the templates for sure.
And then there's also a question of what we're going to have our home team doing during these cons.
Yeah. Well, I'm still going to be on vacation essentially through the evening of the 6th, so I'm really only going to be actively available on the last day of Anime Expo, at least this time around. But I think we discussed it a bit before.
We discussed it previously, like way back a couple months.
Yeah.
I think home team wise, it's probably going to be Pat, myself, and Nick. Oh wait, no, Nick's going to be at AX. Never mind. So it's just myself and Pat then. Pat will probably most likely have to do, if he's doing any of the article prepping or any of the site prepping, that will probably fall on him. Me dicking around with it, I would break the site.
I mean, the home team can start putting together their article preps, like their early stuff. But for things where, like, Nick runs into a developer or anime enthusiast or someone who's important to the anime community and does a interview, Nick should be able to just write something up and leave it as like a template and have somebody of the home team like put the bells and whistles on.
Is AX again? It's not this weekend, is it?
It's this next week. Yeah, starting on Wednesday night and then through the weekend.
Okay. I should be more readily available for that because Wednesday night I'll be home into the evening. The 4th is the 4th of July. I'll be out from like afternoon until the evening then. I imagine Pat will be too, so that'll be hard for us to coordinate. I'm working from home, so I can be readily available for the team.
I figure you're going to do a lot of the social media posting, right?
Yeah, generally that's what I would be doing. It's just because Jeremy is on vacation and Nick's at that convention.
We might need some article stuff as well. Yeah.
People can be wearing different hats.
In terms of, and this is something I've wanted to ask for a while, in terms of what you're putting together for the con treatment kit, one thing con treatment / kit, because there's a con kit of what we bring to cons, and then there's con treatment. In terms of con treatment, knowing what images are going to actually be put up on social media can allow us to be a little bit faster in obtaining the images and getting the right stuff. So if you could tell
That's
us,
fine.
yeah, if you could tell us like what you're looking for, in terms of like, all right, we want these types of images, or I want like these types of images con for social media. Another thing is one thing that I would really like to do, just because it comes up every con. We tend to get a lot of cosplay pictures. It'd be nice to have an article template for cosplay that just has one of those like paging through images so people can look at all of the different cosplays.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a thing that, because I find that a lot of times we go to cons, we see a lot of cosplay, and we just, if we're putting things on like Instagram or something, we're only going to be posting one or two. But if we can have an article ready for it, we can at least get like a large article of cosplay, and that's a thing that a lot of people like to look at.
I think I agree. I think overall gallery posts to the site generally would bring in a lot of traffic, and we do see a lot of the bigger sites like Polygon, Verge, IGN strictly to social media for their cosplayers or photos in general. Like they always post a at the convention gallery.
Yeah.
So I think we should do a photo gallery when when the convention's over or when it's nearing completion. That way there isn't as much social media pressure to like just throw it the fuck up there and make sure and nobody gets credit,
Right.
which is the last thing as a news outlet we want to do.
So here's what I'll do tonight is I will put together the templates for days 1 through 4 of Anime Expo Cosplay Spotlight. And it'll just be a pretty generic text blurb, and then the gallery widget underneath, which again should be pretty self-explanatory in terms of like, yeah, like how to jump in there and put the images in. So I can actually get those put up and ready to go.
So if we're gonna do days instead of like a after con post of all of them, and I actually like the idea of days, it just gets us more coverage. It gets us more things that we can post on the site. I would say
we could do
should
both. We can do day coverage and then
we
overall.
could do best. Yeah, we could do like our
best
favorites from the con. Yeah, best of.
I would say that we should discuss a number so that the people at the con know, like, okay, on day 1, I want to get 10 pictures of people cosplaying. On day 2, I want to get 10 pictures of people cosplaying. That way we have like a minimum, a floor. What we don't want is somebody on like day 1 getting 50 and then we post that, and on day 2 there's like nothing to grab, but we also don't want them getting like 2 on day 1 and then we have a post that's got 2 pictures.
Right.
I mean, overall, I'm not opposed to an oversaturation of cosplay from one day to the next, because for social media purposes, no one's really going to call me out for posting someone who cosplayed fucking, I don't know, League of Legends on Friday and Saturday. Like, generally, that's not that big of a deal. People are just happy to have a shout out on a media outlet for social media.
So in terms of images, let's say we have a minimum that we try to get each day, but not a maximum.
Yeah, I would say that works. And then yeah, and I think the gallery would work well to try and spotlight as many of those as possible. And then like, let's say we got 15 a day, so there's like 60 from the weekend, and then we pick 10 of them for the wrap up article. Those 10 people that we pick, likely they'll be pretty big Instagram folks or cosplay people, and so being spotlighted as one of 10 of 60 gives a sense of like exclusivity, and so that would hype them up to share it with their fans, and then that gets more exposure. So I think the dual pronged approach of doing daily and then having our favorites article actually helps us do twice the work on exposure.
Yeah, I think that's great.
It gives us more traffic for the same amount of work we're going to be doing anyways.
So Stephanie, in terms of putting together this, could you put together as part of like the con treatment thing? Can you put together photo guidelines? Just assume we're all retarded in terms of taking. Sorry, I shouldn't use that word. Assume we're all stupid in terms of taking images and have no experience, and include things like, you know, take a picture with the sun behind you, things like that, so we get like decent quality images.
Yep. Okay.
And then
I think actually, Steph, you put something like that together already, I think. So you might just
Last
have to tweak
conventions,
it
you
up.
just need to tweak it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
So
did
I
it
think you
for
can
like
do that.
unboxings and stuff.
Yeah. No, I think he did some for cosplay too. But one other thing, just really quick, that I'll need to verify before I turn in and get on a boat tomorrow, is that once I create the template, that other people can go in and edit it. So
I know I can't edit other people's articles.
Can't either.
Because Low Fat asked me to change something with his.
Okay. So that might be something that I can change. So I might be able to say, give
like make
Stephanie
articles on other people's workspaces.
Well, no, I mean, well, I could create the article under their alias, yes, or alternatively, I can give Stephanie and or whoever else needs it editor privileges, so that you would have the option of editing an article from somebody else. Because I know
Maybe
I have that privilege.
I would say like for the that would be something we should assign to the home team. So the home team, yeah. So Stephanie and I guess Patrick for AX should have editor privileges on all of the articles, and that also means that when Sean or Nick or whoever else, I think Ben is going to AX. I don't know if he's going to be doing a lot of Geekly Grind work, but whenever they do something, they don't actually have to log in and create an article. We can create the article on our side. But if they do want to create an article, we can go in and change things or fix things if they need.
Yeah, I like that. And I think right now Ben tentatively will be covering My Hero Academia, the season 4 premiere. But then other than that, he's probably not going to be doing too much. So, but yeah, that sounds good. I can dive in and do some editor stuff for it.
One other thing is that we should let our the people who are going to the cons know kind of what is expected of them. Like just a minor level of like, so if you're doing this, you'll probably put together an article and we will do a lot of the back end, but this is what we'll need of you. Another part of that is when we're setting up appointments, I don't know how big it's going to be for AX, but it's going to be huge for PAX, is requesting the media kits ahead of time, which is something we can usually do because we're usually talking to PR when we're setting the appointments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good.
I agree. The only thing that I'm concerned about for media kits going into AX is a lot of those interviews, from my understanding, is like their roundtables are done on the spot within 10 minutes.
It's going to be harder
PR
with
kits, harder with people versus games.
Yeah, with games, it's going to be a lot easier. With something like AX, I think most of our images are going to have to be like stolen from websites.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is like, for example, I know Sean's got Katsuhiro Otomo interview lined up. I could prepare a draft of like, hey, interview spotlight from Anime Expo Katsuhiro Otomo, day 1 or whatever, and then again, it can just be like, by Thunder. Very generic block, like, Katsuhiro Otomo is well known for his work on Akira, which helped bring anime to the mainstream, blah, 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 or arguably helped bring anime to the mainstream. And then like a picture of Katsuhiro and like a couple of shots of Akira. And then check out our interview below, blam. And then there's just like, he can just basically just upload it to SoundCloud and put the SoundCloud widget in there. All the tags and stuff are in there, and then post. Like, I think that's kind of the idea, is like, that's how he can help set up like the interview side of things. It's like, if all that stuff is there before and all we have to do is just upload to SoundCloud, insert and post.
Yeah. Do we have a itinerary of what they're doing at AX, or are they kind of just one or two Z's that are scheduled and they're kind of fielding?
Well, Anime Expo is historically very bad at organizing press things until the very last minute. And so Sean has been kind of getting these onesie twosie things kind of hammered out and ironed out. So far, all I've heard is that he's got Otomo Roundtable on the 4th, and he's on the wait list currently for My Hero Academia. Other than that, a lot of the news comes out, and Nick knows this, like just living in the programming halls where the major industry panels are. Like they're in the same room all day. So you just literally camp from like 10 a.m. until 5 in the afternoon. And I know that Nick's Twitter game is strong. So I feel like that's going to do a lot of our heavy lifting in terms of the social media exposure side of things. Like
in terms of,
yeah, go ahead.
In terms of articles, though, if we have somebody in the room and something comes up that they go, you know what, this is something that would be worthwhile to have like a full write-up on, we could have them text somebody in the home team and give them basic information. Like,
that's what I was thinking we could do.
Yeah, something's going down with MHA. Go.
And so, no, absolutely. I'm on the same track as you are. So I think the reason why I was asking about itinerary is that way we can tee up, like Jeremy was saying, we'll draft up the things that we know that are coming through, and we'll just plug in what it is. And then we're going to have to heavily rely on Nick and Sean to actually communicate with us if they're at panels, to be like, hey, I will be doing an article on this. And if they let us know what it is, then that'll be easier for Pat and myself to, oh, okay, I can get to a computer and like bang out 5 sentences and tee it up, no problem.
Yeah.
Have to know that it's happening. Otherwise, we can't have the bones ready.
So I know in the past we've also, I'm moving a little bit away from AX, but this is also related. I know in the past that when we've done audio interviews, we've basically just released the audio online. If it's possible to write up an article with like some of the answers to some of the questions, I think that might be preferable in terms of like getting a reading audience, especially on things that are new or interesting, like being able to have those specific answers. I think it's a stronger pull, but it's a lot harder. So that's kind of up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I just pinged Sean in the con scheduling channel just to see if he has any other premieres or interviews that he's waiting on responses from. And so if he does, then again, we can try to start teeing those up a bit. I agree that in terms of readership and like drawing people to the site, it's going to be having the questions that people have or answers that people have questions to. So I think that's just something to be mindful of. And I think, again, Nick does a really good job at when he's doing the social media stuff is capturing those things, documenting Q&As really well. So just being hyper aware of those things and having it available. And then again, if we've captured it already on Twitter, to be able to translate that into an article that's more readily searchable and, that'll get more hits on the site.
Right. I think a lot of this, though, I don't mean to cut this conversation short because I think this is a useful one, but I think a lot of this we can do kind of offline and through chatting together. I think it was important that we like figure out what direction we're pushing this into, but then, we all have things to act on.
Yeah.
And so we can keep going on this issue, but I'm just trying to be cognizant of time. We have a lot of things to go over today.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll go over to the next one. I mean, for the most part, I think we're fine. We have an idea of what we want, and we can throw things back and forth.
Okay. Yeah. Let's set up a chat. The three of us can just kind of chat back and forth. As you're putting this together, Stephanie, just like, ask questions if you have any questions. If you don't have any questions, feel free to just go crazy.
Good.
Next option, or next item is open discussion of issues from community. We already kind of talked about the one thing with Sean. Does anybody have something else?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. We talked about discussion of convention coverage rules. One thing to be aware of is the question of what happens when more than 3 people want to go to a con. That's not currently a problem, but it's something we will probably want to figure out before it becomes a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to definitely nail down a bit more like who's going to what. I know there's been some discussion in the con scheduling channel. You know, I know we've ironed out PAX West and everything else, but I'd just like to make sure that we have those people kind of nailed down so that I can move forward with it. Because right now, I still kind of feel like there might be other convention. I don't have a specific example, but like if there's another convention that I want to move on and submit applications for,